Well, hi. Well, I'm Alejandra Blanco. I'm agricultural engineer. I have recently finished my dissertation with MIC. I have been, it's a pleasure to me to be here between you. And I own a company and doing restoration and building equestrian surfaces from the last 15 years. From 2019, I became associated to RSTL, so I began doing testing in Latin American racetracks. Well, Latin American racetracks are distributed along the continent, are located on mild weather like Buenos Aires in Argentina or Montevideo in Uruguay, to extreme weathers like Puerto Rico or Panama with tropical humid climates with a risk of hurricanes, or to really drought areas like Chile. Well, in racetrack, in dirt tracks, predominates. Well, these are the I don't know if this is no. I want to point. These are the racetracks are in red and the arenas are in blue, but we have marked just the countries because in some places we have many arenas, so I don't want to be confused. I don't want to confuse you. Mainly the design of racetracks are dirt racetracks, mainly the shallow design, and with the exception of Elípico Santiago in Chile, which is a deep depth cushion, because it's in a different climate situation. The arenas are mostly a kind of shallow sand with a geotextile mix, and in some cases there are compliant surfaces in some countries. The challenge in Latin American are a lot. To my knowledge, one of the big challenges is the geography, which is related to the influence of the climate and the influence of the climate and the altitude. And it is related also with the viability and diversity of materials. The other challenge is a cultural challenge. The cultural of each racetrack is different. When you are tripping from one racetrack to other racetrack, you have to detect which is the culture of each racetrack. And you have different names for the tools, different activities or schedules are different. The organization of the work, the organigram is different, and how more or less the unions are included in some decisions. And in the cultural, after what I was listening, we could add there the kind of horses they have, because in some cases, well, in some cases they have horses that came from United States as a glass career, and they go to races in some of these countries. The other issue is that is also cultural. It's in some races, the races never stop. They race the whole year, and they, for instance, for some maintenance special work, they stop just a week in the year. And it's also cultural. They are so used to these problems with the weather, that when you mention to have a weather station, they say, well, we have the prediction of hurricanes. Why do we want a weatherization if we are always looking to the sky because the hurricane is coming? So that's part of the cultural issue. And there are also a legal issue which has to be with the management. You can find private racetracks under private management with government oversight. You have public racetracks with private management under government oversight. And one of the things that produce this is that the decision line is fast when you are in a private racetrack, private management with government oversight. The decisions are fast. The people that are in the decision makers move fast. But when you have a private racetrack with public management or public racetrack with private management, the decisions are really long. So you can recommend doing something and it may be the next year. The next, what do we test in racetracks? We follow the protocols of RCLs, of course. So the protocols to sampling for sound quality, to analyze particle size distribution, XRD on ball density in the 8 poles that are in the 8 poles and the 2 distances from the inner ray. And we also do this, the testing of volumetric moisture content and the cushioning in the same 8 positions. And sometimes, I want to do this. Sometimes it happens that, for instance, in the blue arrow, these are the volumetric moisture content at Mexico racetrack. For instance, I was doing the testing and the crew began to understand that something is not working on. So they asked, may you do the testing again in the afternoon after watering? Yes, okay, but I'm going to report both, the first and the second. But the interesting of this is that they began to understand how the issue worked. Because in the second case, in the orange arrow, it happens that the depth cushioning was not giving so well. And the same crew said, well, may you use the grader and then you do the test again? Yes, it's clear. They clearly understood what was happening. And we did it again and we reported. And in the last case, in the brown, the data, it doesn't seem to have some problem because it was, I couldn't put the standard deviation because the table, it was going to be so huge. But it doesn't seem that there were any problem. But when we meet with the jockeys and the owners, some breeders, they began to complain about some problems in some areas of the oval. And well, we suggest that we need to go deeper to go deeper in that areas, and we use the ground penetration radar. And we use the ground penetration radar and we test the depth cushioning in that points. This explain many things, but as this one of the issues in this kind of racetracks are that the constructions are obsolete. So we couldn't determine whether if the lawyers that we were seeing inconsistencies were a hard part or were the base. And there weren't any plan, so we recommend following with the altimetric survey at high resolution. So we do an algometric survey every 10 meters in the length of the inner rail and 4 points crossfall, and we get almost 700 points. But the good news was that the survey showed that the base was consistent, and the interesting thing is that the mess was in the depth cushioning. So, well, they have to correct things on the grader and the many works that they do on the maintenance. And well, this is the final graphic, which shows how, this is the balance of the sand. So at this moment, we don't need to bring another sand. The sand is here, but we have some places that exceed the desired depth cushioning and places that are in red, that, no, the red are which one that exceed, the blue are that are behind. So, well, this is an input for the next work that will be the restoration, working with another kind of laser with the gradient. Well, this is the amazing crew that worked all together during a whole week. And really, it was a hard work to do. And they have to be here also. And well, what else do we test? We something that we test, and I didn't put in the slide, is in turf grass we also use the going stick. This is Maronias, for instance, and we check in the same pole positions the volumetric moisture content and the going stick in the turf grass, and the same the others in the turf grass. And what other things we check? We check the drainage, which sometimes may be altered because the altimetry is not working on. We check also in dirt tracks the longitudinal slope and the crossfall, which, for instance, appears that in one racetrack, in a dirt track racetrack, the backstretch has a slope of 4 meters go down in 600 meters. And in the front stretch, it has 7 meters going down in 400 meters. So that was interesting to see that difference. The other issue we report is this machinery status, which is important because in some cases they have one set of machines, and if anyone is out of order, they have no backup. But that's not in all the racetracks. There are some racetracks that you can have 10 tractors, but there are 2 flats. And the water track really is an issue. The water tracks are very inconsistent. Another thing, well, some of these racetracks are preparing his manual of machines, so we are taking pictures and putting the name that they use and the name that we use. And the other issue is the sequence of cultural practices, because sometimes we recommend a sequence, and or for some calls, a machine is out of order, the sequence is modified, and they never return to the previous sequence. And nobody knows why, or where they changed the sequence, and sometimes they lost using a big tool because someone changed the sequence and nobody told you have to return. What else do we test? In arenas. In arenas, we frequently, in arenas that are under our management, we tested depth cushioning, volumetric moisture content, base uniformity, and sand quality. This is how we represent when we have this I believe this was the problem of the cushioning. And then we do the balance to know if we need sand or if the sun is there, but it's bad grading. And we also check the design layers. The one important issue in arenas is the irrigation system, and the water shortage, the quality of water, the position, because in some locations you have wind from one side or shadow, and well, at this cause, the issue of the shadow and evaporation also happens in the racetrack. The maintenance tools in arenas, really, if you are the constructor of an arena, you have to provide the tool, the harrow, because otherwise they are going to use the old harrow his grandfather recommends, and they are going to destroy the arena in few days.
That's universal, isn't it, Lars?
Yes.
That's not Latin America, that's everywhere.
Is a chain link fence okay? Is a piece of chain link fence?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, it will be.
It's new chain link fence even, yeah.
The maintenance crew, it's a problem in arenas. We try to do trainings, but the people change a lot. And also happens that the people that is doing the maintenance is also working as a groomer, or well, doing multitasking, and the maintenance is for the end of the day. Well, I'm tired. It will be tomorrow. And really, it's a problem because if you want a big arena, it's the construction plus the maintenance. And well, to sum up, and a kind of pros and cons between racetracks and arenas. Racetrack had a problem of sound quality, and this is not something to justify, but some countries has prohibitions of opening new quarries. So I understand that in some cases they need to do exploration, but in some cases there are prohibitions of opening quarries. So they have to use that because they have no other possibility. In Latin America, there isn't a corporation that moves sand. The constructions are obsolete. This is the issue of the machines, that in some cases there are one set of machines, and when one is out of order, there are no backup. But something that is a plus, that the maintenance teams are strong, because in the racetrack the maintenance team is like a department. So the maintenance team are strong, and in some cases the crew has their own testing. In Maronias, they take the testing by their own. I go to check, so they do testing for the meetings, but that is in a special case. Arenas, well, in our case, when we build arenas, we do the exploration. So we search for the sound quality. There are modern constructions, but some clubs have constructions from 50 years ago. And well, you have to provide the tools with the arena, and the maintenance teams are not consolidating. Exceptionally, there are a club in Colombia that they have a maintenance program where there is a form where they have to put his signature every day they did the maintenance. And what is the tool at what time? That is a weird case. Well, that's all. After whatever I was listening here, I had add more things, but that's all today.
Yeah, now Alejandra will be here tomorrow.